Pokémon Discord version. Arc 4. Enter Kaz Yamora. Meanwhile. Damn, guys, why did you let me sleep that long? Huh? Oh my gosh! What the hell happened? Guys! Oh my gosh, please wake up! Oh my gosh, everyone is dead! Said Rocket Grunt Kaz as he woke up from the longest and most fulfilling nap he had ever taken. Kaz was the grunt of the Rocket Grunts, always clumsy, not very well spoken, not the brightest, and certainly nothing special in combat. Indeed, he was one of the most disrespected Team Rocket members in history. He was the one the rest of the Rocket members would ridicule and torment. Kaz was most definitely an odd fellow, and he was only about 18 years old as of now, around the same age as his deceased teammates. As much as he tried to be social and gain notoriety within his faction, he lived in constant failure. He was known to most as a disgrace among the disgraceful, and would more than likely end up the butt of everyone's jokes. His failure was amusing to them, which resulted in him being treated as a jester or the town fool. The sad part is, most of the time Kaz wouldn't even realize he was being made fun of, and when he did, he would just brush it off like he didn't even mind being so disrespected amongst his peers. "What do I do, oh man, what do I do?" he yells frantic as he looks around and witnesses the mutilated corpses of his former teammates. He looked at the condition in which they had been slaughtered and immediately felt grateful to be alive. Kaz was always used to having terrible luck, for he had been given a bogus hand in life to begin with. "Whoever did this must have overlooked me as I was sleeping. I can't believe I'm alive! I'm alive!" He cheered and danced around the corpses of the Rocket Grunts, completely disregarding the fact that the killer could still be lingering in the area. "Now, time to set off on my journey. I need to get to the nearest Team Rocket HQ immediately to report what happened here." Kaz packed everything he could find up as quickly as possible and got going, even searching the bodies of the Rocket Grunts for anything he could salvage. This mission he gave himself was more than just a mission to him. He thought of it more as an opportunity to prove himself, for he knew this would finally show his superiors that he was not the worthless slacker they all thought him as. The only Pokemon partner at Kaz's disposal was Rattata, a weak and unintuitive partner and a mediocre Pokemon altogether. He was equipped with 6 Pokeballs and 2 potions. Other than that, his inventory consisted of survival equipment and the shock baton he was issued upon joining up with Team Rocket. His shock baton was his main method of combat, as well as the scout knife he uses from his survival gear. Kaz wasn't very good in a fight, not being trained in hand-to-hand combat or with any form of weaponry. Because of this, he had to sneak and worm his way around conflict his whole life, thus becoming a pretty elusive crook. Cowardly, but effective. As Kaz walked the dirt meadows of the pathless plains, the sun began to slowly rise. He looked at his map that was issued to his team when they were dispatched to guard the Sector 66 barrier. Let's see. Beyond the pathless plains to the east is Siren City. That looks like it's the closest Team Rocket HQ to where I am now. He then did his best to map out his course of action, trying to see how long it would take him to make it there, and if he had enough equipment to make the journey. Kaz's thoughts. Siren City. I've never been there, but I've heard plenty of stories about it from the other grunts. They say that's where the micro-hydro-powered water wheels are. Seems we took that city before the war began to seize control of electricity regulation. That place is one of the main sources of power to all the electric-powered cities in the world. No wonder it was one of our first targets, he wondered to himself. Siren City is east of here, but it looks like the east is inaccessible, unless I go through this mountainous place called Wyvern Pass. If that's even possible. I suppose it's worth a try. Kaz presses onward, ignorant to the dangers that would await him if he tried to tread through Wyvern Pass. If only he knew more about the geographical history of the area. Then he would probably rethink taking the shortcut to Siren City. However, Aiden was headed to Wyvern Pass as well to complete the mission his master set him on. This only meant that Kaz and Aiden's paths were inevitably going to cross eventually. Kaz was hopeful in his journey to find whatever powerful being killed his teammates, and prove he was more than just the fool they saw him as. Let's just hope he's aware of the danger he's getting himself into. Along the way, Kaz also passes by many corpses of people and Pokémon who perished by the hand of something obviously powerful and violent, but eventually made it past the obstacles laid before him and began to see the mountains in the distance beyond the miles and miles of pathless plains covered in dirt and blood. The pathless plains used to be lush and covered with green meadows, but ever since the war that took place 13 years ago, the grass never grew back. Okay, finally I can see the mountains. That must mean I'm getting closer to Wyvern Pass. All right! He begins to jog lightly to speed up his journey, feeling excitement fill his heart. Closer and closer as he picks up his pace, he realizes the sun is at the highest point in the sky and the heat is getting overwhelming. Phew! He stops running to catch his breath. I should probably stop somewhere and refill my water supply, huh? He looks around the near ending of the plains and finds a creek opening at the edge of the mountainside beyond the trees. Ah, there we go. Fresh mountain water is always the best on a hot day like today. He walks over to the stream and dips his canteen in the water. Then he pours the water he collected through his filter device that came with his survival gear. Ah, hell yes. Clean, beautiful mountain water. This is gonna hit the spot. He lays down a tarp and takes a breather while chugging his water. As he looks into the distance, he sees how the land curves to the mountains. The end of the pathless plains had an extreme geological change as the dirt ended and the jagged mountain rock began. Over the stream he had rested beside, he noticed it intertwined with a downward spiral on the other side which the mountain was on. It went into an almost straight down drop onto what appeared to be nothing but jagged pointy rocks that stretched around the mountains for miles. Walking through this would be impossible for Kaz, so he knew he needed to go around. He also saw in the far distance there was a bridge that stretched from the peak of the plains into the mountain region so far he couldn't see beyond the giant clouds that blanketed the mountains and made it completely impossible to see where the bridge led to. Well, that doesn't look promising, but it's the only way through. I'm going to have to take the bridge once I make it over these plains. I wonder what's on the other side. Hopefully somewhere stable to walk. That bridge doesn't look very sturdy. Kaz was not excited to tread across this wooden planked bridge that stretched into somewhere he couldn't even get a visual on. He got up and packed the tarp into his bag and pressed onwards towards the mouth of the bridge. As he made his way, he noticed something rustling around in the dirt not too far from where he was. Uh-oh, something's coming, he says as he prepares for a battle. Go, Rattata! He summons his little Rattata in hopes of fending off whatever creature was before him. Aka! Suddenly a snake-like Pokémon bursts from the ground, attacking Rattata instantly, damaging it only slightly. It's an Ekans! Kaz says as he realizes what the creature is now. Rattata, use Bite Attack! The Rattata lunges forward, catching the Ekans and bites into its scaly flesh. Aka! The Ekans was not very strong. It went down with one move. Alright, here's my chance! Kaz grabs a Pokeball from his bag and throws it at the downed Ekans. The Ekans stayed in Kaz's Pokeball without a struggle, as Kaz caught himself a new partner almost effortlessly, which was rare for someone of his low skill level in Pokemon capture. Yes! I knew I could do it! I knew it! I knew I wasn't a complete failure! Ekans, you're mine! Ha ha! Kaz couldn't even contain his excitement as he jumped up and down, cheering for himself. He uses a potion on his newly caught Ekans and clips its Pokeball to his belt, officially adding it to his party. He continued to walk, finally ending up at the mouth of the bridge. Huh? Kaz notices someone ahead. Someone already crossing the bridge. Who is that? He says as he looks ahead, trying to get a visual on who it was. Huh? That's a little kid! What the hell is he doing? Kaz says to himself. Could he be the one that slaughtered my team? I really doubt that a child could be capable of that, but I can't help but to get an eerie feeling from this kid. Little did Kaz know this child had something extraordinarily powerful following him, something cold and dark. Aiden had made it across the rickety old bridge and was now out of sight, so in order to catch up with him and confront him, Kaz began to hastily run across the bridge. "Hey kid, wait up!" he yelled as Aiden came into view again after passing through the smoky cloud that layered the mountain. "What the?" Kaz said as he came to an abrupt stop in the middle of the bridge. He now saw Aiden standing in front of a giant waterfall that seemed to cover the bridge's pathway and fall over it and down about 200 feet underneath the bridge. Kaz looks down and realizes he is suspended up 200 feet in the air over pointy rocks and water, standing on an old wooden bridge that was almost falling apart. Gulp? Kaz gulps in fear as he clutches the rope that held the bridge together. "Hey kid!" Kaz tried yelling again, but to no avail. Nothing could be heard over the crashing waterfall and the dangerous winds that shook the bridge back and forth. All he could see was Aiden standing in front of the waterfall, facing it with no movement. Curious to what he was going to do next, Kaz started walking cautiously along the rest of the bridge, trying to get a closer view of what was going on. "Ah! This wind is ridiculous!" Kaz said as he slowly made his way across the bridge. "What the hell?" Kaz yells in confusion as he witnesses the waterfall being lifted quickly by an unknown force of some kind. Then Aiden walks in through the water that's now accessible because of the said unknown force lifting it up for him. No way! How the hell did he do that? There's no question about it now. That had to have been whoever slaughtered my team. No ordinary child can telepathically lift a powerful waterfall like that. I've never seen anything like that in my life. What the hell just happened? Kaz is now flooded with confusion as the waterfall drops down after Aiden successfully infiltrates the waterfall's hidden passageway. How does that kid possess this power? It's unreal! Roaring in the distance. Oh man, what was that? Kaz says as he looks around, still in the middle of the unstable bridge. Suddenly, the bridge begins to shake more violently than before, and the winds begin to blow with more intensity. He hears it again, but getting closer now as he grips onto the bridge's ropes and begins to walk back faster and faster. Oh my god! Kaz yells as he is now running across the bridge to get back to the pathless plains and on solid ground. As he looks back, he can see what was chasing him, flying above the bridge. It was an angry horde of flying dragon-type Pokémon that came from the mountain and began attacking Kaz, seeing him as an intruder trying to infiltrate their home. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Kaz yells in fear as he is now full-on sprinting across the bridge, disregarding some of the planks falling out from under his feet. Suddenly, a Dragon Pulse attack from a Noivern nearly vaporizes him as he jumps from the bridge with all his might onto land. Ah! He yells as his back is charged slightly, the pulse just barely missing him vitally. He rolls and gets up quickly, continuing to sprint to safety. Oh my god! Oh my god! He runs as fast as he can and makes it back to the spot from earlier where he rested. He had made it there safe and sound. What the hell? That was definitely a close call, he says out of breath as he lays flat on the ground, hyperventilating. Okay, new plan. I'm going as far as I can south until I can safely travel to the east. No more shortcuts. I'm just gonna follow the main path to Siren City. There's no way I'm gonna make it through Wyvern Pass. It's goddamn impossible! Kaz now realized the mistake he made by trying to cut through the mountains and quickly revised his plan. He also could almost confirm that the child was the culprit who brutalized his team. He didn't get a good look at him. He only memorized minor details. This likely would ensure that Kaz's journey to the mountains wasn't completely pointless. He knew what he had to do now, and he wouldn't rest until he accomplished his mission. With Rattata and his newly caught Ekans by his side, as well as some lucrative newfound information, he presses onward to Siren City in hopes of capturing this monstrosity of a child and bring him to the mercy of Team Rocket.